about the funeral, featuring insights from Deidre Hall and Nichols. And today we'll discuss the guest stars who will be appearing and the challenges Drake's co-stars faced while filming these emotional scenes, all while coping with their own feelings about his illness and the heartbreak of losing him. As you may remember, Drake Hogestyn passed away on September 28, 2024, after a battle with pancreatic cancer. In light of the situation, Ken Corday decided to film the death of John Black while Drake was still alive. Although this may sound harsh, Ken clarified that he had discussed it with Drake, who was fully supportive of the plan for his character's exit. Ken acknowledged the difficult fight Drake was facing against this aggressive cancer, but felt it was important to proceed with the storyline about John Black's death. At that point, he mentioned that Drake hadn't appeared on screen for 9 months, with his last episode airing on September 9, 2024, which was filmed earlier that year. So, it wasn't that he hadn't been on screen. Rather, he hadn't been in the studio to film. The way he phrased it was a bit confusing. Once Ken Corday decided on this direction, he spoke with Drake to get his agreement on the plan, keeping in mind that if Drake managed to overcome the cancer and wanted to return, they would make it happen and bring back JN. As we know from Days of Our Lives, death is rarely a permanent situation in Salem. Unfortunately, Drake lost his hard-fought battle after they had already filmed John's death, so none of that contingency planning was necessary. Ken Corday expressed how painful it was for them to write the storyline about the death of a character that was beloved by fans, cast members, writers, crew, and producers alike. Nichols, who portrays Steve Johnson, shared that filming the death of his on-screen partner was particularly difficult. The off-screen friend was the hardest thing he has ever done. Not only that, but Steven mentioned that he initially disagreed with filming John's death while Drake was still alive. However, knowing that his good friend had approved and told Ken it was okay convinced Steven to push through and do the difficult work, even though he wasn't fond of it. He also shared that he kept in touch with Drake regularly, talking several times a week until the end. Steven discussed how challenging it was for everyone while filming the funeral scenes for John Black, and I can only imagine how excruciating it must have been. He said the actors had to support each other to get through it, and he believes Drake would have been pleased with the final result. Deidre Hall, who plays John's wife Marlena, told Soap Digest that filming John's death and the funeral was really tough. However, Deidre also mentioned that she tried not to focus on Drake's real-life illness while filming, as she wanted to separate that personal feeling from her work. Her friend's illness served as her motivation, and she mentioned that she didn't want to get involved at all. Deidre also noted that she was aware Drake had an open invitation to return to the soap opera and that he was fighting hard against cancer, eager to come back to Days of Our Lives. At the time they filmed, no one had said goodbye to Drake in real life because they were all still hopeful he would overcome the illness. Deidre remarked that, despite the difficulty of filming, it was beautifully executed. The episode features flashbacks to the moment John first met Marlena when he saved her at the pier long ago. She mentioned that the flashbacks cover all the decades he spent on the show and their journey as a couple, filled with history and emotion. Deidre believes the audience will respond positively to it. Nichols mentioned that even now, more than 5 months after Drake Hog's passing, he remains on everyone's mind, and they talk about him daily on set. Steven noted that whenever Drake's name comes up, everyone wants to join the conversation because they all loved him and enjoy reminiscing about what a great guy he was. Steph added that he and the others are keeping Drake's spirit alive. Now, let's discuss some spoilers regarding the death and funeral scenes. Since they filmed John's death and funeral before Drake passed in September, this aligns with the June influx of many returning characters. I expect John Black's funeral to take place in June 2025, possibly with his character's death occurring just at the end of May sweeps. May sweeps may heavily focus on the question of where John is and what has happened. I'll provide more updates as we get closer to the dates. We can look forward to seeing Charles Shaughnessy back as Shane Donovan, as Marlena and Steve confront Shane, demanding to know where John has been and why he has been gone for so long on this ISA mission. Andrew will have scenes with Steve while Patch is out searching for him. We're preparing for John Black's funeral, where we'll see his children, B. Black and Brady Black, who are already in town, along with his grandson, Tate Black. Coming in as well are his son, Paul Narita, and his fiancé, Andrew Donovan. There's no word yet on whether Claire Brady will attend, but we do know that Sierra Brady and Hope Brady will be there to say their goodbyes. While Beau Brady is set to return in 2025 with Hope, it's still uncertain if he'll make it to the funeral. Let's hope he does. Vivian Alam, John's adoptive aunt, will have scenes, and his adoptive cousin, Tony DEA, will be present with his wife, Anna DEA. John's stepchildren, Sammy and Eric Brady, are also making a return, and Rex is expected to be there too, although he might have a quick appearance since he's now a morning news host and can't take much time off. Sammy's sister, Carrie Brady, is also coming back. Other familiar faces include Jack and Jennifer Horton, as well as Will Horton. More guest stars are expected as we prepare to say goodbye to John. We still have a few months to go, and then it's time to grab the tissues because John Black's death and funeral are sure to be beautifully crafted and emotionally impactful. This means it's going to hit fans hard as we witness the conclusion of an era. I'll share more details as they come in, so stay tuned. Thank you for being such a loyal listener.